Big news out of comics this week as artist Rob Liefeld has announced that he is stepping away from his signature creation Youngblood after more than 25 years of shepherding these characters' adventures. But what caused Rob to step away? What are the legal entanglements involved with the Youngblood characters? We've got all the news on that today, as well as some speculation about what might happen with Rob's characters going forward. Now, Rob announced on Twitter a day or two ago that he is no longer going to be working on Youngblood comics, and this is because, in his words, he made a, quote, bad deal in 1997 with one Scott Rosenberg of Platinum Studios. If you don't know who that is, that's okay, but you probably know some of the things that he has been involved with in movies over the past decades. He was one of the key figures in bringing Men in Black to the screen, as well as the original graphic novel. Maybe not too many people have actually read the comic, but they did make the movie Cowboys and Aliens from an original graphic novel over a decade ago. Now, Liefeld had an agreement with Rosenberg, as well as another gentleman, John Hyde, going back to 1997, as I've already mentioned, where they would split up control of 24 different creator-owned properties that Rob had developed in the 90s at Image Comics, Extreme Studios, and later his own publishing imprints, Maximum Press and Awesome Entertainment. Until this week, it was unclear who exactly had control of what, but Rob has been talking about Twitter that he no longer has exclusive control of Youngblood, Supreme, and 6 other Extreme Studios titles that are now, I suppose, under the exclusive purview of Scott Rosenberg, although that really is honestly just speculation on my part. What we know for sure is that Rosenberg is in business with another person, Andrew Rev, who Rob Liefeld said had contacted him in the last year and offered him the chance to, quote, audition for the honor of creating Youngblood comics. And as Liefeld puts, you can imagine how well that went. Now, whether this means Rob is legally barred from making Youngblood comics or just does not want to if he has to be in business with these guys is unclear. What we do know is that Rob has said that he has, quote, shut down the storyline that would take Youngblood to issue number 100 and beyond. Now, if you add up all the issues of Youngblood that have been published over the years since 1992, it does get us pretty close to 100, maybe even going over 100 if you're going to count things like Extremely Youngblood, Youngblood Strike File, Youngblood Battle Zone. But if we just take Youngblood proper, all the different volumes of Youngblood, and add them up, we are getting close to 100 issues of that, although it should be noted that no single volume of Youngblood has ever made it to issue 12. And because of some numbering mishaps in the 90s, there actually is a number 14 issue of Youngblood, but no issue 11, 12, or 13 from that volume. And the most recent volume, which wrapped up unceremoniously in 2018, ran to issue 11. So, like I said, never has there been an issue 12, but maybe someday, although it doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon. Rob also made the point that he still has exclusive control of those 24 properties, of 8 of them, those 8 being Bloodstrike, Brigade, Berserkers, Rejects, Kaboom, Avengelyne, and Cybrid. Now, through the process of elimination, here's a little more speculation. If you're interested in what does Rob not have control over, well, if you actually go to the Platinum Studios website, you can make a pretty educated guess about what Rosenberg and his company does have control over. That includes the big guns Youngblood, as well as Supreme, the spin-off title Kid Supreme, and New Men, Warchild, Badrock, and the Allies. These are all mentioned on Platinum's website. Other characters like Prophet and Glory are not, so we can, I think, safely guess based on that Platinum has those 8 titles. Again, Youngblood, Supreme, Kid Supreme, The Coven, Warchild, Badrock, and the Allies. What does that leave the third partner, John Hyde, with? Well, again, Rob has confirmed on Twitter that includes Prophet and Glory. And again, through process of elimination, I'm thinking what's left is, I looked through all my old Extreme comics and I'm thinking these are what's left. These are the other 6 properties that John and Rob share control over. And that is Maximage, Dooms 4, The Mark, Nightmare or Night Strike, one of those, not quite sure which, Menace, maybe, and maybe Scarlet Crush. Although, again, that's just my best guess. So what does this mean for Extreme Comics going forward? Probably we're not going to see any anytime soon, but I've been a big fan since going way back, since going back to the 90s. So if they ever come out again, if there's new issues of Brigade or Bloodstrike or anything else, I'll be happy to buy them once they are available for purchase. And I make that distinction because another sort of ongoing thing with Rob has been this Kickstarter debacle. Since 2013, he's raised $35,000 on Kickstarter for a Brigade miniseries that is, as of yet, unpublished, still forthcoming 6 years later. So, will that ever see the light of day? It's unclear. There was also a deal with Netflix where those titles that were under Rob's control were going to possibly be the subject matter of some Netflix shows. But again, that didn't happen. I think that deal has fallen through. So what will we see next? Your guess is as good as mine. But whatever your guess is, I'm curious to hear what it is. So leave a comment below with what you think will happen to these extreme characters going forward. I'll also make a note before the video is over that today I have been drawing my versions of Shaft and Badrock, some Youngblood characters on the left, kind of obscured, but you can see when my hand's taken away, a Statue of Glory, picture of a Statue of Glory based on an illustration by Chris Sprouse from many years ago. So reading about this news, again, bit of a bummer, but did get me inspired this morning to wake up and draw some Youngblood fan art. So that's the silver lining for me. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more art videos like this one. Until then, I'll see you next time.